Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ultra Life Today. I hope you enjoy the bass voice that I'm experiencing right now. Haven't had a little bit of a lung congestion thing going on this week, so hopefully I'll sound more authoritative.
You have the baritone.
Not yours, though, unfortunately. I'm working on it. We've got a super dear friend to us that we have to kind of make sure she shows up about once every 3 months. It's Mary Jane Fry. She's a pharmacist, works at Medic Pharmacy, does a ton of nutritional consulting. And the thing I love about Mary Jane the most is she actually texts me all excited like a child with a new toy. It's like, this webinar, I've got access to it this weekend, Josh. Let's watch part of it, and so we'll tag team back and forth. She's always learning, and it means so much to me to meet someone that's really just fascinated. Mary Jane, welcome to Ultra Life Today. It's so great to have you here.
Glad to be here.
What a treat.
Well, it's fun to always be here with you guys.
So we were talking a couple of days ago, and we decided that we were going to venture into unknown territory because you know enough to be dangerous. I know almost none about this, but I keep hearing this word being thrown up, webinar links you send me, YouTube videos, people that I know that are struggling with certain things, everything from mast cell activation syndrome to Ehlers-Danlos to
post-COVID.
POTS, yeah.
Well, POTS and post-COVID.
POTS,
right.
post-COVID. And it's this vagus nerve thing. I didn't even know there was a vagus nerve until about 6 months ago. And now I hear it's like one of the most important nerves that literally is one of the biggest, longest things in your body. Give us a description of a vagus nerve and why we have one. And then why is it such a buzz thing right now?
Well, I've been learning because when I started getting young 20 to 30-year-olds in with consults for anxiety, and I would start asking them questions, they either had COVID or they had the vaccine, and all of a sudden this anxiety was creeping into their lives that they hadn't experienced, or it was minor and now it was severe, and it just kept repeating itself. I have a friend who's an occupational therapist that does manual therapy, and she was telling me how everybody was coming in and their vagus nerves were out of whack, and she was having to reset the vagus nerve. And so it just keeps coming up.
Now, you mentioned 20 to 30-year-olds. Is this like a massive trend that you have seen in that age window, or is it happening to everybody?
Well, there's older patients also, but I really hadn't been exposed to as many younger girls that were, just going through college and first jobs and stuff. They weren't my patient clientele.
Gotcha.
And all of a sudden, one of my referral sources started sending me referral notes, 20-year-old anxiety, and it just kept repeating itself. And so that's when it started. And then
started trending for you, and now you went down the rabbit hole, right?
It started, and then listening to summits, and they start talking about the POTS and the EDS and the mast cell activations, and somebody always interplays that with the vagus nerve. And so I've been kind of utilizing it in my patients that are just telling me they're having panic attacks or they're having anxiety. Then I start asking them more questions. And like we were just talking about, the different breathing exercises and things that you can do to reset the vagus nerve is a key portion of it.
I'm so glad you opened up the can of worms, because I have been hearing recently, especially among college-age girls and up to in 30s, this whole post-COVID thing for them has been much more traumatic.
Mm-hmm. It was even probably mid-2020 or late 2020, they started talking about the number of college students that would be dropping out. They did a study and found how many were going to go on disability, and they weren't going to be able to finish college because of their long haulers post-COVID.
Wow.
And to me, that was just dramatic, that these young, supposedly healthy people were all of a sudden disabled, and we're going to stay disabled if we didn't do something about it. And I just feel like it's a really important place to pay attention to and
kidding.
to put our energy in helping them.
So, hey, Mary Jane, it's Adam Payne over here.
Yes. Sorry, Adam.
So no, it's okay. It's you guys. This is just I'm absorbing all the information that you're giving. So this is you're drawing a conclusion that this is related to COVID.
Well,
Or
there are all different reasons why, but right now what I'm seeing is that. But we're also seeing more POTS because of post-COVID.
just remind us again, POTS.
Postural, orthostatic,
Tachycardial syndrome.
There we go.
Yes. Say that fast 4
No.
times.
Say it
No.
one more time.
Yes. So post-orthotic tachycardial syndrome.
Okay.
And some of the
So that's when
manifestations
people lie
of
down
that,
and they get tachycardia. Is that
well,
right?
you can literally have someone like, for instance, me. I used to experience this a lot. I haven't in years, but it's something that I experienced for a good 15 years of my life, from the time I was about 18 till I was about 35, somewhere around there. And literally, I could just stand up from sitting in a chair and literally go lightheaded, and I'd have to grab something because I was going to be blacking out.
Yeah, but that's you and me.
that would- and
That's
that would
tall
happen.
man syndrome.
You think?
Right? Yeah. I mean, I know it because
Well,
me
it went
growing up-
away, and I'm still tall.
It does go away. Our cardiovascular system gets strengthened. You're saying that this is. I'm trying to absorb where we're going with this or where this is coming from. This is new. This emergence of POTS and this emergence of anxiety and especially in the 20-something, 30-something community. You're seeing this a lot now.
We're hearing more about it. Now, one woman the other day called up and was talking about her daughter, and she said that now that they have this diagnosis of POTS, she thinks the daughter has had it for years. They had her, the
that's
doctors
interesting.
diagnosed her with a hypomsomnia, where she was just falling asleep.
Interesting.
But now they're adding this extra piece to it. And she said, when I started researching it, I found, this connection that probably she's had it longer. And then we started talking about the vagus nerve
That's
and
so interesting.
explaining it all or discussing it all. So one of my summits that I was listening to,
Go ahead. Yeah, keep going.
the doctors started talking about how this vagus nerve intervenes is intervening in the pancreas, the spleen, the gut, and then going up to the brain also. And that the nerves go into these organs, but then they also go back out. And so what he described was that the connection of the vagus nerve to the spleen during COVID, that the virus attacked the spleen, and then that
Leaked over to the
sent
vagus nerve.
back up to the vagus nerve these messages that dysregulated the vagus nerve and threw these people into this panic. So that's,
it could also.
that's where I was coming, or that's what I was
The
hearing.
virus could have also. It's connected. The vagus nerve is connected to all these tissues. Couldn't the virus have traveled up those
Yes,
to the
I
vagus
think,
nerve?
I think he actually said that also.
Yeah.
Yes. And probably that happens with other viruses, and that we just haven't seen it in such mass amounts to know.
Chicken pox. What's the later stages of it? It's the
shingles.
Shingles.
Right.
Those viral particles are living in the nerve root system.
Right.
In dormancy, and then they can get activated.
Well, and Epstein-Barr is the other one that we see reactivated a lot after mono.
Oh, yeah.
So, and fatigue that goes along with that
Yes.
is immense
Profound.
sometimes. Yes.
Profound.
So that I thought was just so fascinating. It was just something I hadn't learned, through my pharmacy schooling and all.
Okay, but you guys are alluding to that there are some simple, perhaps, interventions that can help to stimulate the vagus nerve. I know that there are pain, for people that have neuropathy, they have these stimulators that specifically target stimulating the vagus nerve at high frequency.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
that's
I mean, aren't
what
those like placed under the skin or something?
It's
it's like clipped to the ear.
clipped to the ear, and there's
Yeah.
also one that like a little needle, like the glucose monitor thing, but that goes into the ear. I think there's one that clips on the ear with
Yeah.
a needle, and there's one that maybe goes into the back too. But I've heard about them. Have you seen results that people?
I've actually seen them being used, and
Okay.
I've actually had the clips on me before.
Wow.
My son has had the clips on him. He's
What happens?
calming.
Really?
Yes, like he'll fall asleep with the clips on his ears.
Cool.
So it's very repetitively.
Do not
happens.
operate heavy machinery with the clip. Just saying.
Exactly,
Don't do that.
exactly.
No driving.
I know patients who have liked the clips so much that they go ahead and buy their own.
They're not cheap.
About, well, I think they're $400 to $800.
Oh, I thought it was in the thousands, but that's
No, I think some of them, and
You
maybe
can't
like
put a price on a good night's sleep.
well,
or decrease in
kinda kidding.
anxiety.
right.
We're talking about the vagus nerve. We're talking about its relationship. It began to emerge seemingly as we have mass vaccination taking place worldwide. And guess what? Everybody getting COVID. So it's all kind of seems like this is some kind of thing that is emerging, and we're hearing about it a lot among college-age kids up into their 30s. And Mary Jane, you were telling us that there's a lot of anxiety, panic associated with this. And as you were doing webinars with different doctors that were talking about POTS, talking about mast cell activation, EDS, all of a sudden we're all hearing vagus nerve, vagus nerve, vagus nerve, and simple exercises. We were going to move into this next segment, I think, and talk about some practical, simple things. And I know to people out there, some of you are going to be thinking, now, wait a minute. This is like, voodoo witchcraft stuff. I promise it's not. This is real stuff. People are doing it. It's working for them. And we also need to take a rewind back in the next segment and talk a little bit again about that ear cuff that you were talking about, because that's a device that's been used now for a few years. So we'll be right back with the next segment of Ultra Life Today.
Our mission is to take nature's most beloved botanicals and enhance them with our liquid protein scaffold technology. This helps it reach your cells faster and better. With exponentially enhanced bioavailability, you'll feel better every day. Ultra Botanica, the feel-good curcumin.
Welcome back to Ultra Life Today. I am Josh Bellew, Adam Payne sitting on the end. We have Mary Jane Fry that has joined us today, a pharmacist, nutritional consulting, and she was noticing something fascinating taking place as all of a sudden she's getting a younger and younger clientele, a lot of them females between 20 and 30-something with panic, anxiety, nervous tension problems. And this vagus nerve thing kept coming up. And bring us back up and talk even, Mary Jane, because I know I'd heard about this well over a year ago, but I never associated it with vagus nerve. They even make these like electrostimulating devices that people wear as cuffs on ears and things. How does that work? What's that about?
What I'm understanding is it's called an alpha stim. So it's alpha stimulation. And they hook to the ear, and then they'll take a pad and actually put it on your stomach so that you have a clip and a pad.
Aren't these like registered 510K medical devices, FDA registered devices?
I think so.
They are.
Yeah, I think they are.
Somebody can look that up, but I think they actually are. Insurance will even cover them, I think. So
Depends on the people who are using them are mostly non-insurance type therapists or
Gotcha.
physical therapists, occupational therapists, those.
And-
But
and
it's
what-
possible.
And what is the effect of this device? What's
It's
it do?
calming.
Okay.
So it's resetting the vagus nerve.
Okay.
So that's one way to do it. It's probably the fastest way to do it. It just takes you leaving your house and going someplace to have somebody hook you up to the device. So there's also all over the internet, you can Google resetting your vagus nerve, and there's going to come up with a bunch of different exercises. We were talking about a few that I had learned during the vagus nerve summit.
Ooh.
And they're not long, right? And they're simple.
No,
it's not like you
they're
have to hold a
simple.
yoga pose for an hour, right?
Can you share one that we can just try here? And
Oh, sure. They're all we don't have water to gargle, but one of them is gargling.
Really?
And you gargle hard. They said don't be like a soft gargle, and it's not salt water, it's just water. But you put water in your mouth and you gargle hard, and 4 ounces.
how long?
Well, you have like 4 ounces of water, and you just keep gargling that, gargle, spit, and that's one of
Okay.
the places. And the reason the gargling works is our vagus nerve is there's
right
two
up
vagus
here,
nerves,
all the
and they're
way
on
down.
both sides of our neck.
Yep.
And so that's where that neck connection to gargling. You can scream in the shower.
Really?
So a lot of times people who sing in the shower and they say they feel better, they're activating their vagus system.
Oh,
We just
interesting.
didn't really know what all it was doing.
Is singing in the shower okay, or does
Singing?
that work?
Sing,
Yeah.
Josh,
Okay.
sing
If
it
you're singing
loudly.
loud,
Yeah, because
Yep.
You gotta belt it out, brother.
Yeah, well, I sound great in the shower.
We all do.
Now, when I'm out of the shower, but
so nobody hears you in the shower, so you can
okay.
let loose.
Well,
loose,
except the
all right.
rest of the household.
So those are two. There's
Gargle, shower.
an ice bowl with water, ice water bowl, where you plant your face into the ice
Oh, you got
water.
to be kidding me.
I have not done that one. But it is listed
Do
as,
not take a deep breath when you are doing that. Okay,
Exactly.
hold your breath.
but people have told me that they have done that before. And then the other is
How long do you have to put your face in the ice water for?
As long as it
Probably-
takes, Adam. As long as it
probably
takes.
30 seconds.
What?
But you can go probably in and out. But that is
I'm
one.
speechless. Absolutely. Okay.
What brings me to that thought is when they were doing those ice buckets.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those challenges? Those
people
ice
felt
water
so good?
buckets, and people felt good. so somebody was
Oh, my
raising
gosh.
money.
Well, I like the lady that I found on the internet better because she was doing
Yeah.
things like this. She was going, do this, and then look up and to the right for 30 seconds and just hold that. And then you do it the other way, and then you look up and to the left or something like that.
Okay.
So I think there's a bunch of different ways to skin the cat as it relates to stimulating the vagus
Oh, I feel
nerve.
so much better now.
Another one that I love is that they call it the baby sigh.
The credibility of this show is just really
Just tank. We've reached a whole new low here.
No.
Okay, people. So, if anybody, while you're listening to the show here, would if you wouldn't mind, go into your kitchen, get a big bowl, fill it with ice water, and stick your face in it for 30 seconds. Then we would love to hear from you after the break here. We really, I would. Does anybody dare to do that?
Don't turn on any light switches or the kitchen disposal
So that
or
way-
put
okay,
anything
And
so-
in the
make sure you
toaster.
close your mouth.
Yeah.
We don't
And
want
don't breathe
anybody-
in the water, right?
Yeah.
So we have
Gargling.
gargling.
We got the 4
singing
ounce
loud
gargle.
in the shower. You could gargle loud in the shower too, I guess. Ice water bath for the face.
Or you can do a shower of cold water after. You do the warm shower first, and the last 30 to 60 seconds,
Do a freezing cold shower.
do the freezing cold shower. And it can be, you can
This
work
makes so much
into it.
sense. You know, the Slavic culture of going into the
Exactly.
steam baths and having these ice cold water plunges
Yep,
is all stimulating the vagus system.
exactly.
I used to do that. I lived there. I lived in Moscow for less than a decade, for about almost 10 years. And I would go to the banyas there, these public bathhouses, because I was addicted to it. I would leave. I left the bathhouse literally feeling like I was floating on air. It was such an ethereal, positive mood experience.
There you go.
So hard to
Cold
describe.
plunge.
Hot to cold.
Wim
Right.
Hof.
So that is a vagus system stimulant.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Blowing my mind.
So another one is a baby sigh. So when babies are really upset, and they're screaming and they hold their breath and then they'll go,
Yeah.
that is a vagus reset.
I don't know how to get myself that worked up to get
No,
there.
you
That's
don't.
the problem.
But you don't need to get.
You
the
don't
work.
have to
you
get that
don't?
worked up,
You just
though.
got to do
You
that.
just do.
I know what that feels like. It's kind of like you're resolving to change from being completely upset with the world to, okay, and then
Let it all
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Let it all go.
I like that one.
Yeah, I really like that one a lot. You can also, like Josh and I said, you can take your toothbrush and not poke it down your throat, but you just
You know
tap.
how your mom always said, brush the back of your tongue and get as far back as you can, and once you gag, then you've done your job.
Oh my gosh!
So
Well,
gagging works on that vagus nerve also.
I think we're going to need Thomas. I think we're going to need Thomas to give us some good visuals for this. We can ask Carol to get some good visuals of people
oh my gosh!
making themselves gag with their toothbrush.
So
Okay. Wow. Maybe a hearty laugh also.
This is
yeah.
Yeah.
This is the comedy relief version of Ultra Life Today, and I think
I
it's
haven't laughed
working.
like this
I feel
in a
great.
long
Hopefully it's
time.
working. We've got Adam relaxed,
Yeah,
so it's
well,
working.
He's going to slide out of the chair onto the floor here in a
Oh my
moment.
gosh. Okay.
So those
are there more?
if you live somewhere where there is cold water, you can actually do cold water
Oh,
swimming.
so those Arctic
Cold
cats that like to do the cold
Yeah.
water plunge, they're
Polar Bear
they're just
Club.
addicted to vagus nerve stimulation. That's what you're saying, really, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
The word is
need
out.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas.
So
Vegas
adrenaline
nerve
junkies
Yeah,
and Vegas nerve
and
junkies.
Vegas nerve stimulation has nothing to do with throwing dice on a table
Well-
or pulling a one-arm bandit.
Well,
it just doesn't.
You know what, Josh? What happens in Vegas stays in the Vegas.
So there is a friend of mine, another place that I had this intertwine is a friend of mine owns a fitness center. And she sent out like a Facebook post that she was doing a Vegas rewire. And so people went and had a 30-minute or 45-minute session to where they were learning how to reset their vagus nerves from breathing, meditating, different exercises. So I haven't been to one yet, but I'm actually signed up for one. So I'm looking forward to that also.
It sounds like there's a lot of ways to skin this cat, and it sounds like people are doing it and having success with it. So you've had young ladies, and we've got a couple of more minutes in this segment. Have you had young ladies doing this, and has it been helping them?
I'm giving them the instructions
Okay.
and showing them how to do it. I haven't had as much feedback yet.
Okay.
But I'm working on it. One woman the other day was sharing with me that she had had a lot of panic attacks 6 months ago or so, and she had worked through with some therapy and different things on it. But then we interconnected it to COVID and some extra things, and so I gave her these tips to utilize the next time she had one. So I haven't heard back from her yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to hearing more about that. And email us. I don't even know that we have a general email box, Adam, for
Info.
people to email us.
Info
at ultrabotanica.com.
or customer service at
There you go.
ultrabotanica.com.
Yeah,
All
we'd
one
love
word.
to hear from you if you're doing some of these things and they're working. We'd love to
Or you
hear
can
it
just
and-
call
and-
in
and
in a few
include it
minutes. We'll
in
be
future
live here in the
segments.
studios taking your calls. And we would love to hear from you.
We're going to really confuse the people that don't know we do a radio show. Anyway,
Well, but we will be.
this
On Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, we are live on the airways, actually 10:30-ish. But I hope everybody's been enjoying this this dialogue that we've been having with Mary Jane Fry about the vagus nerve, not to be confused with Las Vegas. It does take some nerve to go there, but this is different. This is about stimulating the vagus nerve and helping people that are dealing with anxiety, stress, all sorts of things. Stimulating the vagus nerve can be an answer. All right, so let's, folks, we're going to be ending this segment right now. I'm Adam Payne.
Josh Bellion.
Hey, we'll be right back next week to continue this exciting road of discovery and illumination.